Let me not be vulnerable.
They're going rogue.
They went rogue.
Oh, they hit the hive. Hive is the worst thing for the glass cannon build.
We're getting distance, you guys.
No. The fireworks?
Get handled.
Dude, they'll suck.
See my buddy behind you, did ya? You're dead. And you're about to be dead too. You're dead.
Yep, sniped them.
They're probably running to another one.
Go, 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 go.
One's
Get
already
these
like
levels.
lit up.
Oh shit, oh shit, oh shit.
That one's down. Should be down.
He's dead.
Okay, yep. That's the right side. Look at this guy with the shield. Clan trash, nigga. All y'all trash. Where the other guys at? Another
You're
one's dead
dead.
right there. You dead? Another out here.
Bro.
That's my mask. Don't pick up a mask.
You're dead.
Dude, they're all dying. They're all dying, yo.
4v7.
Clan is trash.
If I deconstruct it, because if they drop it in there, I will run in there and deconstruct it.
Yeah, it is constructed.
As long as they don't get it, that's all that matters.
That one's somewhere.
Oh, there you are, there you are. One of them running Vanguard too. Look, they trying to run the two on the left. Did I say two on the left? I meant one. Yep, one on the left. Oh, three more on the left. Try to get me. Oh, your aim is back. That's tough.
Bro, there's like 7 on the mountain right now.
Yeah, I know. I already killed one. I'm about to kill the second one here.
I'm coming up behind them.
Yep. Second one was dead. Oh, the fucking. Oh, that's tough.
You're dead, bro.
I shot 2 in the back.
There's your pestilence.
Most XP out of this, we're gonna increase too. We're here, Fuzzy, we're here. I'm gonna hit you with a heal.
He's dead. Already got him.
Oh, a seeker, nice seeker, bro. Whoa! Freaking rifle guy just one-tapped me apparently.
Get him, Fuzzy, get him.
Fuzzy, get out of there. Get out
Oh,
of
he
there.
threw a secret at me, bitch.
Okay, I'm gonna spawn up at Bravo to get closer to Freddy.
Alright. Fuzzy,
Freddy,
when you get a
increase
chance,
it where
move
you
through
are.
there.
Increase it, Freddy.
I don't know if he's by himself.
I'm
Careful,
by
he's got
myself,
increase.
but dude, I'm taking these guys out, bro.
I might take my healer off. I might put my armor
I'm
in.
finally down.
You sure you guys good?
Yeah, we're good. Be careful with fire.
He's down.
Shit. Honestly, this would be a perfect thing for that, for the fire build with the new fucking status shit. The creeping death with the status. Ooh.
I got. Yeah, dude, someone's gotta run. Whoever's by that safe house, run.
I think that's Fuzzy. I'm spawning in now.
Alright, we can hold and stand real quick. Turn around. Come back this way. You're dead. Nighty night, bro.
All their friends are dead.
Oh, it's tough. You're gonna die of the
You're
fire.
dead.
Sorry, bro. Yep. Bro, the fire has just melted them away, dude.
Where are they? Are they all down that street?
Yup, got him at the camp.
Other shit, so.
Plus the artificial.
There's another one right here.
Yep,
He's
get
about
the fire,
dead.
bro.
We'll clear it. We'll clear it. Just let us know when you gotta go.
I'm like, yeah.
Well, guys trying to run. Killed two. The last guy got me when I was about to shoot my last chem.
Got the chem guy. He was right
Nice.
outside the door. What's up, bro? Oh, you're gonna go rogue now?
What's your aim?
You're dead, bro. Night night.
I got one. He's down. He's dead. I got Kajik over here. He's about to die.
This fool
Kajika's running.
fucking.
Oh, that's tough.
Good shit. Good shit. Kill the other guy. There's only two left. Only two left.
Sounds like you guys are not killing them.
Oh, they died already. The man is gone.
Yeah, we already killed him.
Oh, you got something in your phone.
Behind you. I raised behind you.
He's down. One's down. Other guy's about to go down.
Whoa, chavaram por mim, boy.
He's down.
Whoa.
That's two down.
Yeah.
Behind me. I'm gonna get heavy. Oh, he dead. Watch the phone. Up, and I still watch the phone. And I'm the one that hit. That's cool. Thank you for this. It was on me. He's almost dead. He's dead. He's dead. I don't know what happened. Coming, Fuzzy. Pick him up. Pick up small first. Pick up Freddy next. I'm holding him back. Watch it. I'm gonna jam that. Jam. Put your heels down whenever you can.
Yep. There you go.
Put another hive now. Watch it. Watch that foam. They're trying to foam everybody.
Whoever gets foamed, I'll hit you with the. Ah, got him. We need a jammer though.
He's about to make it.
We need a jammer, you said.
He's dead. There we go out the door again.
Fuck a bitch name, bitch. Big ass titty.
Nah, it works with artificer too. Or you just put the artificer on.
Damn, if you muted me, that's fucked up. Fuck, baby.
Wasn't that talking?
Yeah, no problem.
Lizzie.
Yeah, I don't have my hive because I'm out of charges, by the way.
Okay. Focus KBZ, he's almost dead. Fire hurts. This guy's still alive? What the hell? Oh, he became rogue. Pushing up, that's XCC.
to the right.
Javi's pushing left. Focus XZ, he's in bed.
Yeah, he's down.
Focus on me. Breathe. Yeah. What the fuck? Watch it, watch it, watch it.
KBG's
They're
down.
pushing small, they're pushing small. Up small.
Dude, he's so low.
Another one
You
down.
got, hey, we finish with you. We finish. Javi's running.
Come out, fucking nemesis.
Javi's almost dead. Javi's almost dead.
Really? What's up?
Three of them right here.
The nemesis guy.
On Freddy.
Right, three of them. Oh yeah, they're on me. Need help on me. Come on, I got two on me right now. I'm trying to stay alive, but they shoot.
No way.
Oh, Fuzzy almost shot you.
That one's down.
Cover me.
That one's down.
Recover, 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 and get shot.
That one's down.
I already killed one of them.
Yeah,
One to the right,
I got-
one to the right, one to the right.
Where?
Hold on.
Hey, what's up everyone? Fuzzy Juggernaut here, and today I was going to show my solo and group 3-piece Foundry Bulwark DPS build. This build can be played solo or in group. It benefits in both factors. It's more of a high DPS build though, so we are a little more squishy, but because we have a 3-piece Foundry Bulwark, it will give us, I think, like 45,000 armor regen and 1.2 million armor, while being able to pump out a lot of DPS against the all red builds and DPS builds that you'll be facing in the Dark Zone. But before we get into it, if you like the content you see, make sure you hit that thumbs up button or subscribe. Give it a dislike if you don't like it. Either way, it helps the channel. But right now, we'll get into the build. So we're going to be running the gunner specialization. This is going to pretty much give us a large pouch, because I not only use SMG on the back, on the secondary weapon, but I also use the LMG, my infantry MG5, and a few other weapons, which I'll get into in a minute. But also we get full armor back when we use a medkit, plus 30% increased armor for bonus. And then we also utilize the passive talents in the specialization for ammo every like couple minutes. Makes it nice so we don't have to go try to find an extraction area to get ammo or any of that stuff. And also after a kill you get increased rate of fire for your weapon after you get a kill for like 5 seconds. So there's quite a few good passives in there. On the weapon passives and the specialization, I'm using the shotgun and the LMG and the SMG for my 3 in there. You can use whatever you'd like, but we'll get into that in a second. For our first weapon, we're going to be using the Lady Death. This weapon is extremely strong. We're sitting at total damage 83.5k. It's got good high RPM, and it's got a smaller mag, but normally you can melt people down within 1 mag, maybe 2. But most time, I mean, you're pretty much, if they're rocking an all DPS build and played right, you can pretty much kill them with 1 clip. Sometimes you can melt them down even half a clip. It just depends. For core attributes, I'm 10% SMG damage. I need to reroll this one, but we got 21% critical hit chance and 6% damage to armor. Talent is breathe free. When moving, gain 4 stacks per second, or 8 stacks if sprinting, up to 32 stacks total. Each round fired consumes a stack, amplifying damage by 75%. So this gives us a really strong damage. So the longer you run and the more you stay mobile, pretty much your stacks build up, and then when you fire the weapon and empty your clip into an opponent, then it's gonna release those stacks into damage for the weapon, and it's gonna increase your damage to a really high amount. Kills grant 20% movement speed for 10 seconds, which also gives you a speed bonus, so you'll be able to move a lot faster and strafe faster, and if you need be, dodge or run, get out of the way, whatever you gotta do, take off. Overall, it's a really, really good weapon, and I recommend running it on this build for sure. For a second weapon, I use 3 different weapons, just depending what type of group I'm fighting, and if I'm going to be a little more of a distance, then I'll go with my LMG. But main one I use is my SIG MPX. We're sitting at 109.9k damage, almost 110,000 damage, which is really good for an SMG. We're at 850 RPM, which is also nice. It's only 50 less than the Lady Death, and then it's a 50 round mag size. We're sitting at 15% SMG, 21% critical hit chance, and 10% critical hit damage. Our talent's strained. This actually works really well in the build. Gain 10% critical hit damage for every 0.5 seconds you are firing, stacks up to 5 times. So I think sitting at this, depending, because I switch a few pieces out, like I said, depending on my fights, it's just based on who I'm fighting and what type of builds are rocking. But anywhere from when this strained is procced, with some of our other talents, we can be sitting up to 160 to 180 critical hit damage, which I know isn't the highest, but it's a pretty good number, especially with what we're using. So you'll be able to melt people down regardless. For the mods on this one, we're rocking 5% critical hit damage, and on the laser pointer, we're rocking 5% critical hit chance. On the muzzle, we're rocking 5% critical hit damage, and then 20 round mag. Now, the other ones I use, you can use a Tactical Vector SB9 if you want for the faster RPM. It's still hitting pretty high, 87.5k for a Tactical Vector. This one I have fast hands, but ultimately you probably want strained on there. I do like fast hands for the fast reload, but strain would be a better option. And then same as this one, the Infantry MG5, we're sitting at almost 85k damage. 840 RPM is pretty good, and then plus the large pouch on here, we get a 100 round mag, which is also nice. I have fast hands on this one, preferably you'd want strained, or you go optimized, whatever you would prefer, but strained works really well, especially for this build, and longer firing weapons that have bigger pouches on them, or mags. This one I have 14% LMG damage, 11% damage to target out of cover, and 5% rate of fire. And then fast hands. Fast hands is still not bad. It's not preferable, but it does really help with the LMG, because you'll be hitting really hard with this regardless. So strained would give you more damage, but this in turn allows you to reload a lot faster, especially with the critical hits you'll be getting. So fast hands gives you critical hits at a stack of 4% reload bonus. Max stack is 40, so it reloads like within like a second and a half. Like, it's pretty fast for an LMG. And then you can also rock a shotgun. I don't have any of my good ones on this character, but you can rock a ACS-12 or a rock and roll, or the Marine Super 90, whatever you prefer. For a face mask, I use 2 different face masks. The first one, you can use this in group or solo. I use it both group and solo, so it's just completely up to you in preference. With this one, it's going to be the Coyote's mask. It's an exotic. If you don't have this, don't worry. You can use SMG. This isn't my best SMG mask, but it's what I had on this character, and I've used it and it still worked. So preferably instead of the hazard, though, you'd want a critical hit chance there to boost our critical hit chance up to max. But it still works really well, and using this SMG mask, you'll actually be at like 125 crit damage, I think, with 56% critical hit chance. And then you put strained on top of that, you'll be at like 175, 180, something around there. But the Coyote mask is also really good. I use this in group or solo, either way. It benefits your whole group also, though, when you're running in a group. And we got 15% weapon damage, 5% critical hit chance, 10.8% critical hit damage, and then I have a 5% critical hit chance mod, which are lower mods on this character. I just wanted to make sure my crit was at least above 50%. It's at 56, I think. You can max it out to 60 and work some other stuff around, but ultimately I haven't rolled everything, re-rolled it to perfect. But the talent on this mask is really good. So the Packed Instincts, you and all allies gain a bonus based on the distance of the last enemy you hit. So when you're fighting up close with an enemy, it's going to give you within 0 to 15 meters, which normally with SMGs is what you're going to be doing anyways. It's going to give you a 25% critical hit damage, and then 15 to 25 meters, 10% critical hit damage, and 10% critical hit chance, and then 25 meters is 25% critical hit chance. That's mostly the last two we're not really too worried about. It's just the first one is really nice, so that's why I said you can play it in solo or group, and this gives all your group the bonuses too, depending on where they're at and their last enemies they've hit. So it works either way. The SMG mask works really well too because you're going to get the 10% critical hit chance, and it gives you the SMG damage and the critical hit damage. And then if you have max weapon damage on it with the max crit damage and max critical hit chance, then you could put a critical hit damage mod on it, and it stacks up really nice. It'll put you at really nice stats. So it's ultimately up to you which one you want to rock. For a second piece, I'm using a Sokolov Concern chest piece. Now this one I have Unbreakable on, but I also run, where is it? I also run Intimidate too. This is just depending on the opponent I'm fighting and what they're wearing. If you want more damage while you're up close, based with the Adrenaline Rush perk on the backpack, then you can, but I also switch my backpack perk out too, so it just depends on who you're fighting, what groups you're going against. But for me, I found that actually I prefer, instead of the extra damage, which is nice when you're up close, and that's nice and all, but I'm normally getting 2 to 3 man against people, so it's normally I'm getting just doubled or triple teamed by multiple opponents. And I found that the survivability, especially with the damage we already have, is a lot more efficient than going for just the all-out damage that we'd get from Intimidate. So it's up to you what you can rock. I switch them out. It just depends. But this one we're sitting at 14.3% weapon damage, 10.3% critical hit damage, 9.5% headshot damage. I preferably like to have critical hit chance there, but I had to roll the Unbreakable on it. So and then we have a 5% critical hit chance. The Unbreakable is really nice because the Unbreakable talent, if you're up close and fighting, and I know it's sort of weird because I have Adrenaline Rush also, but it's actually built for more survivability with decent amount of high damage. So the Unbreakable, when your armor is depleted, repair 95% of your armor, which is nerfed in half. It's like 50%, something like that, in PvP, or 45%. Cooldown 60 seconds, but it is really nice, especially when you're going against multiple people, and if you get singled out of a group. It's definitely a lifesaver. So, and having the Adrenaline Rush is also going to give you a 20% boost, which we'll get to in the backpack when I get to that. But that also, when you're up close and fighting them, weaving in and out, you're going to get that bonus armor. Plus, if they break your armor while you're putting down sufficient damage on people, you can melt one down. Get the adrenaline rush proc, and then, you know what I mean, get behind some cover, put on a medkit if you can, or if they break your armor, then you got the Unbreakable, and you have a second chance. Try to get to some cover and put a medkit on, and then go toe to toe with the next guy. It's preference, and it's based on if you want more damage or more survivability. Either one works, and you can rock either one. They both work very well. For our third piece is going to be our holster. This is a Foundry Bulwark. This gives us 10% total armor, and then a 3-piece gives us 3% armor regeneration. The attributes on this is I rolled max weapon damage at 15%. And then we have 5% critical hit chance. I went with 2 reds on this instead of any blues, and the reason being is to boost that damage up a little higher. I was trying to go more for a damage build, ultimately to take out all the straight DPS builds, which is easy to do actually on this build while giving us survivability. Now, we're not super tanky. You will die on this build. It's not unkillable or any of that by any means. So, but it is a nice balance between both, giving you some survivability along with some good damage. For our fourth piece is going to be our backpack. This is our Sokolov concern. Like I said, you can run 3 Sokolov or the Coyote's Mask with 2 Sokolov. It's up to you. Or switch whatever you want around. It's just a template, so you can ultimately build this how you'd like. For this backpack, I'm sitting at 12.5% weapon damage, 5.4% critical hit chance, and 10.9% critical hit damage. And I have 11.2% critical hit damage mod. Now, if you do rock the SMG backpack or the SMG face mask, then you can actually take the other 2 critical hit chance mods off and put critical hit damages on them. And you'll still be sitting at the same percentage of critical hit chance, just with more critical hit damage, which ultimately works really well, but you'd be losing out on the Coyote's Mask for your group. Or if you're solo, you'll be losing on the 25%, but it makes up either way. So if you're solo, you can just rock the SMG. If you're group, you can rock the Coyotes or however you see fit. But on this one, I have Adrenaline Rush. And whenever you are within 10 meters of an enemy, gain 20% bonus armor for 5 seconds. Stacks up to 3 times. Cooldown is 5 seconds. This is really nice, especially when you're fighting multiple opponents. We've got high DPS with decent survivability. And this is also another pretty much survivor line for your build, is because when you're next to your opponents, this talent will proc and it's going to give you bonus armor while you're fighting. So say you just focus down one guy and there's a couple guys hitting you all together, you can focus that guy down, melt him. This will give you bonus armor and time, ample time to get away, to get into like cover or whatever you need to do, and put on a med kit. And then, like I said, if you're unbreakable procs, that gives you another bonus ample time to put on a med kit or get out and get back into the fight after you're in cover. It's just up to you. Now, I also run, I don't have it on this one, I took it off and put it in the stash, but you can also run Versatile on this too. Another Sokolov backpack, and just roll Versatile on it. The Versatile works really well. You'll get your 35% damage from the bonus from that, being up close with the SMG. It works pretty well, and you can stack that with Unbreakable, and that will give you your survivability. Ultimately, it's up to you. You can run Adrenaline Rush, Versatile, or you can actually run Vigilance and Glass Cannon on the chest if you'd want. Like I said, it's preference. It's completely up to you, and it's how you want to run it. I just like the more survivability because I feel that I have enough damage to melt people down, but I want sustainability and survival. So our fifth piece is going to be the Foundry Bulwark gloves, and I have 143,000 armor and rolled max armor regeneration. Now, everywhere else on this build, we're trying to stack crit hit damage and crit hit chance. And then the last 2 pieces, you just want armor regeneration and armor on. So that's what we have on that one. And then same with the knee pads, it's max armor, 170,000 armor, and then rolled max armor regeneration. And those 2 lines are armor regeneration, and the 2 pieces of armor actual that we have on there are going to give us our 1.2 million armor, along with like 45,000 armor regeneration, which is also nice to have, especially on a high DPS build and when you're sort of squishy. So ultimately, I feel like we have good armor, good regeneration. It's not the best regeneration, but it's still not bad for being close to a full DPS build. That's what you're trying to go for, though. Mainly you want 4 pieces, just all reds, and then 2 pieces armor and armor regeneration. Now for our skills. I'm running the Crusader Ballistic Shield. This is going to give us 2.3 million health and some decent active regeneration. Not really that great, but it's alright. And then we're at a tier 2 on this, so 20% active regeneration, 66% shield health, and then 10% holster regeneration. You can run something else, Defender Drone or whatever you'd like. I just ran the shield, and I use the shields, but if you don't want to use the shield or think it's cheesy, use something else. It's completely up to you. Now, you can run the firewall specialization to utilize the actual other shield that you get from the firewall specialization. It's completely up to you if you don't want to run like LMGs and all that stuff. I just like to be able to switch my secondary weapons around, so that's why I'm running this one and the passives that we get, plus the continuous ammo for you and your group if you play in a group. Trying to switch it up a little bit. For our mods on here, I'm running 4.1% shield health, 4.3% shield health, and 4.8 deflector damage. You can run active regeneration or holstered regeneration, whatever you'd like. For our second skill, we're going to be running the Jammer Pulse. We have no tiers on this really at all, so it's just nice to be able to jam people's skills. But the thing we do get is the actual mods from the gunner specialization. So it's going to give us a 15% radius, which will increase our radius that this can jam other skills and players. And then we get 15% effect duration, which makes it last longer, which is nice. So running this, you can stop people from using Chem's the easy way to beat Foundry Bulwark. And there's actually quite a few other ways to beat it, which is good. And so I use this to jam people's shields, their chems before they can use them, or hives or whatever. It's still one of the two main skills that I use is pretty much the shield and the jammer. So it's up to you what you want to run the skills. It's pretty much preference at this point. We only have 2 blues, so run what you'd like. These are just what I run. You don't have to run these. I'm not going to go into the watch levels. Sidearm, M45A1. You can use whatever sidearm you'd like. Our grenade, we're using the riot foam grenade, but you can use concussion too. Riot foam's good though. If you throw this out and there's a group you're battling or some shit, and they're all hidden behind a vehicle or cover or something, whatever, you can just try to anticipate where they're going to be at, and this will foam them and stick them so you can burst them down real quick. I use this grenade. I don't use the concussion, but you can if you'd like. Let's go to our stats. So with this, we're sitting at 56.6% critical hit chance, 83,000 weapon damage. So PvP is 26,297, and then 97.4% critical hit damage with almost 60% headshot damage, which isn't bad. And your damage is going to go way up because of the talent from Lady Death. So, and then also your critical hit damage will go up another 25% because you'll be up close pretty much most of the time shooting with an SMG running up on the opponent from the speed burst that you get from the gun, and then 25% critical hit damage, which would be nice too. So it's going to put you in the 120 somewhere, which isn't too bad. And that stacked with the 75% damage you can get from having the talent procced on the gun is really nice. So overall, it's a good boost in damage. Now, with our other weapon, the SIG MPX, you'll be sitting at 34,000 PvP weapon damage, 110 almost in regular damage, and then 51.6% critical hit chance, 112 critical hit damage, and 60% almost headshot damage. So, and it's about the same for the LMG, except for, well, it depends on what you have rolled on your LMG, but mine's close to similar to this, is why I have the critical hit chances on the builds. Keeps it at like 45% is which all I need anyways. For our armor, we're sitting at 1.2 million armor. We have 116,000 armor and kill, which is not like super great, but it helps out. And then plus the 10% you get from the passive from the gunner specialization. So it stacks up a little bit. It helps out if you kill an opponent. It's going to give you a little bit of bonus armor or armor on kill. And then 44% armor regeneration, almost 45,000, which is not bad. It's decent and good, and it actually helps keep you alive. We're sitting at 280,000 max health and 50% pulse resistance, which we get from the passive from the gunner specialization, and then only 4.6 hazard protection. Now, if you have your shade level all the way maxed out, a lot of these bonuses will be higher. But I'm only at like a 360 something, so I'm still sort of low. And we're sitting at a 4 red, 2 blue build with the 10 red and 2 blue. I think that's it for the build. If I missed anything, just let me know in the comments down below. If you have any questions or concerns, just let me know in the comments. I appreciate everyone stopping by and checking out the build. And I hope you all have a good day. Later.